Hi and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Mathilde, I'm a French knitter, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. Today I want to share with you my Make 9 2026 and kind of my intentions for the year, and I thought we could do another mood board together because, as you guys know, it's something that I really enjoy and that really helps me stay on track. I ended up making a kind of mood board mid-year last year for my Make 9s, and that really helped me see my progress on what I had intended to knit. And so I thought this year we could do a really cute mood board for the beginning of the year, and mid-year we can do another checkup. Now, I know people have very different ideas of what Make 9 is supposed to be. Some people just want to set out intentions, broad ideas of what they want to make. For others like me, it's going to be about putting real projects in a list and kind of going through them. I personally enjoy having that list of projects, of patterns that I want to make, but only because throughout the year, throughout 2025, I've written down several projects that I wanted to make, and I mean like 20, 30 projects, and kind of deciding throughout the year, okay, these are the ones that I'm thinking of, and they kind of shifted, but they helped me tone down like exactly which projects I wanted to make through those 30 patterns, some older patterns that have come out years ago and others that have come out last year that I thought about, maybe I want to cast this on, but I wanted to take a little bit of time before actually doing so to make sure that these were projects that I would enjoy in my wardrobe. That's something that I think I'm going to continue doing, is listing out, patterns that I enjoy the look of, and throughout the year I can decide, okay, this is actually what I would really like to make, and if I don't have time that year for some reason, I can shift them to the next year, and that's what I did for this project I'm going to share with you today. Now, the app that I'm going to be using is an app that I've been using for all of my mood boards. It's called Milanote. This isn't sponsored, but I do love using it. I use the free version, and it really helps me because I make them for my seasonal plans to see what I want to be making, what I can perhaps achieve in those 3-month timeline. Obviously for Make 9 I'm going to have 9 projects to share with you. Now, another thing before we actually get into the mood boarding, really quickly, all of these plans I'm going to share with you are only going to be with yarns from stash. As you may know, I've accumulated quite a lot of yarn throughout the past 2-3 years since I've been knitting, and especially last year I feel like my yarn stash has grown with a lot of sweater quantities. Now, before I had quite a bit of yarn, but it was mostly like a mohair for a project on its own, but no other yarn to hold with it, or the other way around, like fingering weight yarn without a mohair. Now I've got sweater quantities now, so that's all, camisole quantities, and so that's what I want to be using. Because of that, all of the projects I'm going to share, I've got yarns to show you, but also I'm going to be going on a little bit of a yarn buying ban. It's not going to be a very strict ban, because I think I might buy some yarn for a baby knit that I want to make, and perhaps at the beginning of the year I might buy some mohair to pair with another thing, but that depends on a friend. So if we don't do a project together, I'm not gonna buy that yarn, but otherwise I might have to buy it to do a sweater that we want to make together. But yeah, apart from that, I'm not gonna buy any yarn for the first half of the year. So that's a lot, but as you will see, I've got a lot of things that I want to work on anyways, and I've got the yarn for it, so I think it'll be good for me and for my stash. So let's get straight into it, shall we? Let me show you what we are going to be working with. And I'm going to be looking at my screen a little bit, because obviously what you're seeing is what I'm doing at the same time, if that makes sense. Anyways, okay, the first pattern is one that you actually already know. I mentioned it in my winter knitting plans. So this is the Dagmar Sweater by Petite Knit. It was on my Make 9 last year actually, and I cast it on at the very end of 2025. I cast it on the 31st, so it is already a whip, a very early stages whip, but still a whip. So at least I know I'm gonna go through this one. Out of these, I'm hoping to finish in 2026, but there are other pattern ideas that I want to make that I'm just thinking might go into the next year, and that's why they're not in the Make 9. So yeah, I love this pattern. I'm really excited to have it on my needles. The yarn was kindly gifted to me by my roommates for my birthday, so it's even more special, obviously. So the yarn that I'm using is Yellholt's Old Spin. There is Yellholt Triple in the colorway Charcoal, which I do have with me. And so, I mean, it's looking a bit black on camera, but it is a really pretty charcoal grey. This label is in Norwegian, I think. No, Norwegian or Danish. I think it's Danish. So I'm not sure exactly like the composition of it. I think it's got some Gotland's wool and merino wool, but I don't know the percentages. And it's 100 grams for 165 meters. So I think I got 8 skeins to make the size small or medium. I don't even remember what I cast on, so, but we'll talk about that in the next podcast. So yeah, I'm really excited to have this. This is quite a rustic yarn, so I'm not going to make the high neck that she's got in the sample pictures. I'm going to make a crew neck because I think this is going to be too itchy for my neck sensitivities. I'm not very sensitive, but this is quite rustic. So I would rather do a crew neck, and I can wear like a t-shirt underneath it and not have anything going too high on my neck. But I really love how the cables pop in this yarn. I think I've shared a swatch before, so I'll put it in a picture of that. But I won't show you the progress I've got on it, because that'll be for the podcast. Okay, so let's put that in the top left corner. Next up, we have another pattern that I mentioned in my winter knitting plan, so hopefully you haven't seen that, because that's going to be a bit redundant for the beginning, but after that we're going to talk about more exciting new projects, new to you projects, or not new to you, but you know what I mean. So I want to knit the sweater number 15 by My Favorite Things Knitwear in this beautiful blue colorway, and I'm going to be using Biche Le Petit Lamb's Wool in the colorway Medium Blue, which is a really pretty denim blue, held with Silk Mohair by Izir in the colorway 44. And I think together they pair really well. So it's a fingering and a lace weight together. The Le Petit Lamb's Wool is 100% lamb's wool. It is 50 grams for 248 meters. And the silk mohair is 75% kid mohair and 25% silk, and it's 25 grams for 212 meters. And both of these are very soft on their own, and I think they're going to create the perfect fabric. I don't have a swatch to show you yet. I kind of do, but you'll see that in the next video coming out. But I think it's going to be stunning. Now for the pattern itself, I know it's a pattern that doesn't have a lot of sizes, and I've heard the fit isn't great. So we'll see, you know, I haven't read through the pattern yet, so I don't know if there are short rows or not. If there's not, I might add some, we'll see. Kind of wild. This is what I'm thinking. The one modification that I might make, other than the short rows, if there are not any, is not doing the twisted rib. And I'm thinking instead of just doing 1x1 rib, I might even do a 2x2 rib. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure it'll go well with the pattern, so let me know your thoughts on that. But yeah, that is another pattern that I'm very excited to make. And I think in this beautiful blue, it's just going to be perfect for the spring and the summer. And I think it's a drop shoulder construction, I think. And I just love the shape of the sleeves, so that's why I went for this one. I do love the look of the latest one she did with those cables, which I think is sweater number 29. And it's a saddle shoulder construction, but it just didn't scream that color for me. So I might make that one next year or the following year, but this year I really wanted to make this sweater number 15. Okay, this one might look a little bit boring. It's a simple raglan stockinette sweater. It's another pattern by Petite Knit, but I'm very excited to have this in my wardrobe. So I'm going to be making the zipper sweater light. I'm gonna make the man version because that's the pattern I've already got in my stash, because I knitted one for my partner last year. But the yarn combination I'm gonna be using is absolutely stunning. So I decided to go for one yarn that's been in my stash for, I want to say, 2 years. So this is a Cumbria fingering by the Fiber Company in the colorway Blancathra. And this is 100 grams for 300 meters, and it is 90% wool and 10% mohair, so it does feel quite soft. But what I love about this is the color. It's really the perfect grey beige, at least to me. And this one was quite expensive. I think it was on sale when I bought it, but it was still 20 euros per skein or something like that. I bought it in a store, so I don't have the exact cost, but I think it was around 20 euros. And I think it was one of the first yarn I purchased, and so I didn't really realize that this was quite expensive. And at the very beginning when I bought this, I really wanted to make sure I used the mohair to pair with it to keep the same color. And so I initially thought about the Biche mohair, can't remember the name of that, the silk and mohair, something like that. They've got a medium greyish, I think, called something like that, something that I thought would pair well with it. But I ended up, after knitting this sweater, which I didn't mention what I'm wearing, but this is the Esther sweater by Petite Knit, which I knit at the end of last year in Organic Decay and Surrey Lace by Oliver and Oliver Fibers in the colorway Chestnut. This feels like a cloud, and I thought for this sweater in particular, the zipper sweater, I really wanted something that I can wear in the mornings when it's quite cold, in the evenings, like something very cozy and warm. So I decided I actually wanted to pair it with a Surrey lace. And so I bought for the first time, the Sunday Fiber Company Surrey lace. This is from her 70s issue, and it's in the colorway Natural Wonder. So it's 320 meters per 50 grams, and it's 65% baby cereal alpaca, 35% silk. It's incredibly soft. So with the customs, this ended up being a little bit more pricey than I wanted, especially for just a plain white Surrey lace. I should have bought it from Europe somewhere, but I think I'll definitely buy from the Sunday Fiber Company again, just for a more bold color that she does very well. But still, this combination is absolutely amazing. I've already done my swatch also, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I cannot wait to cast this on. So this is another project I'm very excited for. And I'm also very excited to match with my partner, to be honest. So we'll see if all of those yarns or all of those patterns fit in the mood board. We'll see after that. And then we have my most ambitious project of the year, if not of my entire knitting journey. I want to make the girl dress by Vert Knit in Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the colorway Olive. Now this is 100% burette silk. It's 250 meters for 50 grams. I've used this yarn before, I really enjoy it. I'm very excited to gauge swatch for this, but I'm slightly worried that it's going to take me a while to figure out my gauge, which needle size to use, which size to knit, because this is a very fitted dress. Like, your gauge matters a lot, but I don't want to go up too many needle sizes because I don't want this fabric to be see-through, because this is going to be a dress. Now, not only is it a dress and my first ever knitted dress, and as I said, it's, I think, going to be quite an intricate one. I've also got a deadline for this project. I want to be making it for my roommate's wedding at the end, or in September this year. So I've got to get going on that, because I think I want it to be quite long, basically just above my ankles. I think I want it to hit. I also want to make a little bit of modifications for the back. The back is supposed to be a backless dress with just tiny straps. I don't want that because I've got to wear bras, so I've got to figure out what kind of bra I can be wearing and what kind of modification I want to make. Now the pattern is really, I think, amazing. This is my first time buying a pattern by Vert Knit. I'm really impressed with the formatting. I think it's got a lot of instructions, obviously, because it's quite intricate, as I said. I think it's going to be quite complicated to get into it, but I think it's going to be, first of all, very worth it, but also At the end of that pattern, you've got different ideas of back modifications that you can make, because even some of our testers have made a bit of modifications for the back. So let me move that a bit over. This is what I'm hoping to cast on actually pretty soon, because as I said, I've got a pretty big deadline. So I'm going to be swatching for it soon and then hoping to cast it on in February. I guess we're moving into more summer patterns. This is the square neck camisole by Garn Slicked. I've been wanting to cast this on for 2 years, I think. And last year I had put it in my ideas of knit to make it on top of my make nines, but I didn't get around to it. But I've got leftover from another project, which is Sunday by Sandnes Garn, in the colorway Marine, I think it is 5882. I've got just enough for a camisole. I think I might have it just a tiny bit under, so this might not end up being a little bit cropped. We'll see. This is 100% merino wool, and it is 235 meter for 50 grams. And I just think this camisole, the fit, the neckline, and this color is going to be just a banger for the summer. I think it's going to fit me really well. And I think it's going to be a great project to have. I also love the ribbing. So I've got to swatch for it because I don't think I got around to it last year. I don't think so. I'll have to check. I don't know what else to say about this pattern. It's just a simple summer top with a little bit of... I do love I think it's double knitted edges, which I think take forever, but are really worth it. So I'm excited to cast this on, but obviously that will be a bit later on in the year, like in my spring summer plans. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch these around because obviously I'm already don't have that much space. Okay, next up we have a pattern, and that's the one pattern, another summer pattern that I'm not... Next up we have another summer pattern that I'm not actually entirely sure is the one I'm gonna go for. This is more about the yarn. So I want to be using my numéro 1 by Maison Septembre, which is in the colorway Avignon. This is 100% natural merino wool, and it is 100 grams for 400 meters, and I've got 2 skeins. So I want to use this for more than just a camisole. Because I've got 2 skeins, I've got 800 meters. I want to use this for a top, like a t-shirt. So I put this IVT on the board. It's the one I've been thinking about the most, but in the last couple of days I've actually been thinking this might not suit me the best in terms of shaping for my breasts. Obviously Petite has quite small breasts, and I've seen it on a couple of more large breasted people, if I can say that, and I think it looks good, but I think the shaping around the shoulders, because I think this is a satin sleeve, sometimes it doesn't look the best, and I've never done a satin sleeve, so I'm not 100% sure. Let me know your thoughts on this, because I do really love the pattern. One thing is my roommate, which if you haven't heard, I have taught her how to knit. She's knitted her first sweater at the end of last year, which was the step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller. And the next sweater that she wants to cast on is the Ivy sweater by Petite Knit. It's going to be interesting to see how she knits that up and how it looks and fits on her. She's doesn't have the same body type as me, and she's smaller, so I don't think I'm going to be able to try it on. We'll see. But yeah, maybe that can at least give you an idea of whether this is a good pattern or not. If not, let me know if you have any other ideas for tee patterns, but I would like to use this yarn at least that I've got in stash. I think it's just the really, really pretty red. It's not too bright of a red, so I think it's going to suit me a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit easier for me to wear than other red knits I've made last year, which I talked about in my Everything I Knit in 2025 video. Okay, this one is going to be a little bit more tricky to explain, but this is another kind of ambitious project of mine this year. I really want to self-draft a pattern, and why start small when you can go big? So I'm going to try is the key word here. I'm going to try to make a pair of shorts, and this is a really bad drawing of what I want to be making, but I want to make a striped pair of shorts with a 1x1 ribbed hem, folded down. Then the shorts, I want them to be a little bit flowy, not too tight to my thigh, because I first of all hate that feeling, but also I've got pretty big thighs, so I wanted to kind of hide that, and I wanted to hand with 2x2 ribbing. The yarn that I'm going to be using for that, hopefully, if it, you know, turns out, is Knitting for Olive Merino and Merino in the colorway Licorice for the black and Cream for the white. So I want the base to be in the cream, and then I want black stripes. And as you can see from the drawing, the straps are not going to be exactly like the same. It's going to be a short stripe, a bigger one, a short stripe, and then again and again. This is going to be quite a big project because I've never self-drafted anything. I've never really done any strong modifications anyway, and I've never knitted shorts before, so I don't know what I'm getting myself into. This is probably going to turn out horribly wrong, but we'll see. This is inspired by a pair of shorts that I've got in my wardrobe that I bought, you know, in a store at least 4 years ago, if not 5. And I love the look of them, but they're a tiny bit too big for me. I mean, they are quite a lot too big for me. And the shaping is a tiny bit odd because the back is a little bit, there's a lot of fabric there. So I'm hoping to kind of fix that and obviously make it to my size. And it's also got a matching sweater. So maybe if the shorts I'm not getting, you know, there yet because my knowledge is quite limited, I might switch to making the sweater. So I'll have to buy more balls because I only bought not that many to make the pair of shorts. Hopefully I've got enough to even make that, but otherwise I'll be trying to make the sweater version. So that's kind of what this idea is reflecting, which is going to be a really horrible drawing to put on my pretty mood board, but that's okay. I didn't mention, but this is going to be a fingering weight pair of shorts, so it's going to take a while. And I didn't mention, but the yarn is 100% extra fine merino, and it is, I think, 250 meters per 50 grams. So I love this yarn, and I think I could have gone for cotton merino, but I would rather have a pair of shorts in merino wool, I think. We'll see if that even turns out well. Now, still kind of thinking about spring, summer patterns. I mean, it's going to fit well into the fall as well, but it's going to be just a tiny bit more dainty looking, elegant. I want to knit the Marielle Blouse by Marielle Sweater. I absolutely love the look of that pattern. I think it looks really stunning. It's not very easy for me to find really pretty lace patterns that I actually want to make and wear. There are a lot of beautiful ones out there, don't get me wrong, but this one in particular I think will fit well into what I actually wear and, you know, in my wardrobe, in my style. And I want to use yarn that I've had in my stash for a while, so I'm going to be using Tin Pear Gint in the colorway 1002, and this is 100% Norwegian wool, and it's 205 meters for 50 grams, so it's quite a thin fingering weight yarn. And I'm going to pair it with Alpaca 1 by Azir in the colorway 0, and this is 100% alpaca lace weight yarn, and it's 50 grams for 400 meters, so it's really quite thin. I hesitated between using this combination or this for this blouse and the other one for the cabled sweater number 15, but I think I will get more wear out of the Marielle Blouse if it's just white, so that's what I ended up going for, but it's still using yarns in my stash, so that's good. I didn't mention, this yarn was gifted to me for a test knit that was the wrong color that they sent me, so then they sent me the right color and they let me keep these, but this is kind of gifted in a way. So this is a drop shoulder all over lace pattern with really quite wide sleeves, which, you know, I love, and I think it's just going to be absolutely perfect to have. So hoping to cast this on sometime before fall at least, even though I think it'll still be really pretty to wear in the fall as well. I'm just gonna have to figure out if I'm gonna be using the Alpaca one on its own or double, because as I said, it's quite thin. I don't know how it's gonna end up looking, so I'm gonna experiment with my swatches to see what I prefer. The last pattern that is gonna be on my make 9 this year is one I'm very excited for. I've been wanting to cast this on forever, and I got the yarn for Christmas. So this is Gilead by Durham Natura in the colorway Tempête, which is a really dark, kind of dark denim blue, not quite navy, like if you compare it to the navy blue by, hopefully you can see. This one leans a little bit more grey, I would say. And this is 100% wool, and it's 250 meters for 100 grams. So I think it's like a worsted weight yarn. And I'm going to be using it for the Legs V-neck pullover by Ozetta. Now I'm very excited because I love Ozetta's patterns, and obviously the Legs collection has been so popular, especially last year, and I think I'm really excited to make a saddle shoulder piece this year. I'm excited to see how that fits me, but I didn't want to make the regular round neck version because of that saddle shoulder. I'm afraid it's going to be a little bit too much for my build, and so I think the V-neck is going to help kind of tone it down a little bit, make it a little bit maybe easier for me to wear. We'll see. It's really kind of a gamble, but I love the look. I think it's going to be a perfect piece to add to my wardrobe. I'm excited to have another V-neck pattern, and I'm absolutely excited to be using Gilead for myself because I've used it before for my partner's sweater, the zipper sweater Lightman, and also I'm using it currently for my grandmother's vest. And so I haven't used it for myself, but I've been wearing my partner's sweater from time to time, and I just think the feeling of that yarn is amazing. It's quite warm, so yeah, I'm excited for this. I think unfortunately this might be a bit of a later, like end of the year cast on, just because, as you can see, I've got a lot of projects that I want to be making, but I'm, yeah, very, very excited for it. So these are all of the projects that I want to be making. I'm very excited to add a bit more marine blues into my wardrobe because I don't have that many, but I'm excited to stick also to some neutral colors like the charcoal gray and the white. And then very, very excited for the girl dress. Hope I can finish it in time. I'm gonna cast on quite soon, like in a month or two, not or two. In a month, I'm gonna cast on. Hopefully I can figure out my gauge before then, and I'm excited to take you along on the journey. I'll be making project vlogs for a few of these projects. I don't think for all of them, but for most of them probably. And yeah, I hope you are liking this little Make 9 mood board. Let me know if you're going to be making a mood board for yourself as well. I would absolutely love to know. Do you have any set plans, or are you someone who would more likely write down like, I want a cable jumper, I want a lace blouse for the summer? I don't know. Let me know how you usually do this, or do you not do this, and would you rather have kind of impulsive cast-ons, which I also completely understand. Now I've got those Make 9s on my plans. Trust me, I've got other ideas of things that I want to make. That will be if I have time, because those are quite a lot. Some of them will take me a while. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. I always really appreciate it. Appreciate your comments, appreciate your inputs. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.